Seterusnya, Syarikat Perisian tersenarai di Nasdaq Rimini Street lapor transformasi digital adalah fokus utama Ketua Pegawai Kewangan ataupun CFO Global di tengah pandemik ini. Dalam kajiannya, 73% CFO Global mengakui COVID-19 telah meningkatkan pelaburan transformasi digital mereka di Malaysia. Jumlahnya lebih tinggi pada 80%. Dalam masa yang sama, 95% daripada CFO di Malaysia bersetuju bahawa CFO yang berjaya mempunyai hubungan yang baik dengan Ketua Pegawai Maklumat atau CIO mereka. Ini dilaporkan dalam kajian 2021 CFO Peer Insights Digital Transformation and IT Spending. Untuk melihat kepada laporan ini, kita bersama pengerusi dan juga Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Rimini Street, Seth Ravin, yang bersama kita menerusi Skype dari Las Vegas, Nevada. Seth, first of all, thank you for joining us, Seth. But tell us about the relationship between CFOs and CIOs before the pandemic. Did they always have the same wavelength when it comes to tech investments?
I think you always saw a separation between the CFOs and the CIOs in terms of each focusing in different areas. CFOs focusing on the financial side, CIOs focusing on technology. Today, those have to be married together. It's important that the financial side invest in the right technologies to move businesses forward.
But when it comes to digital transformation, we know that CFOs globally have increased their digital transformation investment because of COVID-19. What do we know about CFOs in Malaysia and their focus area for this investment in digital transformation? You mentioned the right investment. How does one know what is the right investment during that particular period? Because you will only see the ROIs or the results much later.
Sure. But during the pandemic, as terrible as it's been for people and for what it's meant to lives, the pandemic has been a very good tool for moving digital transformation forward. We had to be able to work with people working from home. We had to change our systems and processes faster than we expected. And what we have to do from a CFO perspective is invest in technologies that will drive the ability to have better competitive advantage and drive financial growth. And that means working with the CIOs to look at the projects they're working on. For example, changing out core financial systems or ERP systems, as they're known, is generally not a good investment compared to spending money on other things that will grow the business. That's what we mean by spending on the right projects.
And 95% of the CFOs in Malaysia agreed that tech investments are vital. But tell us about the 5%. What views do they hold?
Well, as you know, only about 1 in 3 companies in Malaysia is invested in digital transformation. So the country is behind several of its competitors on a global basis. And that 5% are often CIOs, CFOs who are focused on just running the day-to-day business, and they're not thinking strategically about the investments they need today in order to be more competitive tomorrow.
But has that put them in a disadvantage when it comes to going through the pandemic?
Well, I think companies who are going to come through the pandemic much stronger are taking their limited money and they're investing it in key technologies that will drive growth and will drive competitive advantage. It's a very competitive global world, and if you don't make the investment, a company will die because they will not be able to compete because their competitors are making those investments. So it's imperative that every company make the right amount of investment in their business to be in a position to grow in the future.
Seth, what kind of returns are the CFOs looking for, and will it be short or medium term?
Well, I think you have to deal with short, medium, and long term when you're making investment decisions. In the short term, a lot of companies had financial challenges due to the pandemic, and they have to cut spending. They have to get their spending in line with their revenue. And if they don't do that, then they won't have the money to survive. That's step one, short term. Midterm, take a look at what it takes to move the business forward through survival to the point where they can thrive and grow the business. That's the long-term perspective. So every CFO needs to work with their CIO on a short, a medium, and a long-term projection and program for how they're going to spend money to drive growth.
But Seth, looking at the current resurgence of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia and many countries in Southeast Asia, would it be realistic for them to expect a lag in terms of ROI?
Well, I think that you're going to have a bit of a lag because the COVID situation has not resolved. But many companies are getting immediate returns on the investments that they're making. If they look at all the investments that they have, and they're very, very rigorous about discipline in what they're going to spend money on, I believe they can move forward and grow their business even during the pandemic. So while there may be some lag, there is a huge opportunity to grow that business even during the pandemic, as Rimini Street has done and other companies have done. Our clients in Malaysia, Proton, Celcom, a lot of these clients, they're making investments, they're moving their business forward even during the pandemic.
And Seth, let's talk about the CFO-CIO partnership. 67% in Malaysia have improved their relationship with their CIO or CFOs. Let me just repeat that. 67% of CFOs in Malaysia have improved their relationship with their CIOs in 2020. How will companies benefit from this improvement? Would this lead to further digital transformation investments in the future?
Sure. Because what you're looking at is the CFO often thinks about different things from a financial perspective, and a CIO is always looking at technology. These two groups have to work together, finance and IT, in order to make sure that the right investments are made, that money is not being spent on the wrong items, and that they have a full alignment between the CFO and the CIO. Now, many CIOs work for CFOs. About 50% of companies have that structure, but the other 50% don't, and they may go in different directions, which is not good for the company.
And finally, Seth, share with us the top 3 trends you foresee moving forward in the last 6 months of 2021 when it comes to digital transformation investment. Do we see or will we see more digital transformation investments moving forward, or because of the opening up of the economic activities, would this perhaps slow down looking at how things are perhaps back to normal again?
Well, we've seen the Malaysian economy grow. We've seen that there's great opportunity for the growth. Once the pandemic subsides and we have control, there's every reason to believe we'll see strong growth in Malaysia. And if you look at the digital transformation investment being made across Asia, you're going to see a growth of about $1 trillion of investment, U.S. dollars. It's a very large investment. So I'm very optimistic that we will see good growth across Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Singapore. We already see it in our client base. We already see the investments being made. And I think that we're on the right path to good economic growth across the region if we can get control of the pandemic.
On that note, thank you very much, Seth, for joining us. Seth Ravin yang bersama kita melalui Skype dari Las Vegas, Nevada. Seth Ravin adalah pengurusi dan juga Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Rimini Street, membincangkan berkenaan dengan kajian CFO Peer Insights Digital Transformation and IT Spending. Kita akan berehat seketika, kembali selepas ini.